Whoa, though, this bothers me greatly. Momentum grows in Congress to overturn controversial military widows tax. Some guy sent me this to me, and I forgot his name, so I'd tell him, thanks, man. But this is from military.com, Dateline, May 13th, 2019. I'm telling you, this is nuts. So let's just read it because I'm stunned. With momentum growing in Congress to repeal a new tax hike on families of some deceased service members, military advocates hope this will be the year another surviving military spouse pay issue, so-called the widow's tax. Where have we heard that before? The widow's tax trap. I don't know anything about the military widow's tax, but we'll educate you here because I was like this crazy. Spouses of service members who die on active duty or whose military member died of a service-connected injury or illness in retirement often receive monthly payments from the DoD and the Department of Veterans Affairs. So they're getting the DoD and the VA. By law, the payments, the survivor benefit plan, the annuities from the DoD and the dependency indemnity compensation, or DIC, from the VA are reduced for those who receive both, with SBP payments reduced dollar for dollar by the amount they receive from the VA. The reduction is known as the SBP DIC offset. I'm telling you, this is insane. It's insane. Now I'm going to read, here, let's keep going. Spouses and military family advocates say that SBP, which is the elective coverage paid for by the service member, is similar to an insurance annuity and should be paid out regardless of additional income. They say the offset should be abolished as it's unfair to widows whose spouses receive military pay or retirement and disability compensation. When a service member dies on active duty or in retirement with a disability rating of 100% or from a service-connected injury and illness, their surviving spouses receive the DIC, and again, the DIC is the dependency and indemnity compensation. They receive $1,300 to $19 each month with additional payments for children. If the military member if their military member purchased SBP, they may also receive SB payments equal 55% of their military service person's pay, retirement pay. More than 66,000 surviving spouses are affected by the offset, and while many receive another payment, the special survivor indemnity allowance of $318, it doesn't equal the estimated 12,000 lost yearly by those affected. All right, so let me just back up for a second. The Survivor Benefit Program, the SBP, all right, you pay for that. You pay an annual or a monthly fee of like $350 a month. So that way your surviving spouse can get 55% of the benefit. You do not need to pay that fee. You can say, no, I'll take 100% of my benefit, and that way my surviving spouse gets nothing, and you'll save $350 a month. A lot of guys will try to sell military service personnel who are separating from service on life insurance. Say, I don't do that. You get life insurance instead of the $350 a month you're paying for SBP. And that, look, whatever, we can debate that on a separate issue, but when it comes to survivor benefit, you are paying for it. The idea that's being reduced dollar for dollar by DIC is flipping insane. I cannot tell you how this is insane. That'd be like saying, hey, Josh, you have a life insurance policy with your work that was given to you because employer-sponsored benefit, but you also have a life insurance policy that you paid for on your own. So we're going to reduce the life insurance you receive, that your spouse receives, on the what you paid for on your own. We're going to reduce that amount by the amount you receive from the employer-sponsored benefit plan. But it's even worse than that, because here you had to have 100% disability, which means you A, had to serve, and B, you had to get disabled. This is flipping insane. I simply cannot believe this is allowed. You pay for the SBP. You are doing without to allow your surviving spouse to get 55% of your pension. To have that amount be reduced by $1,319 a month for DIC, I don't see how you can say that's anything other than theft. Again, it's the exact same thing, other than it's even worse. But if you have life insurance through your employer that you're not paying for, and you have life insurance through your private that you are paying for, They're going to reduce the amount of life insurance that you have on your own because your employer also has some life insurance that you didn't pay for. That's freaking nuts. And like we got here, Rear Admiral Tom Jerkowski from MOA. What other insurance policy sold in the United States is permitted to withhold a death payment to a legal beneficiary? Exactly. Would this be allowed to happen to a company selling life insurance withheld death benefits from beneficiaries? The courts would certainly intervene, as would, but I'd say, as should Congress. Where the hell you been? Joining MOA, and I've done tons of, I used to do MOA from Willows Creek, someplace in PA or outside of Gettysburg. I've done a bunch of different MOA talks. So if you're part of MOA and you want a speaker, by the way, man, I'd be happy to. I've done it from Starkville, Mississippi, up here in Lake Clayton, Georgia, all the way up to, I think it's Willows Creek, PA. I've done them all over the place. I love giving presentations to MOA. So if you want if you are in MOA and you need a speaker for your meeting, be happy to do so. Look, I know all these guys, they say, I don't want people selling. I got no products to sell. Nothing. I just tell you, how to freaking save money on retirement, basically. All right, well, this ticks me off anyway. So the joining MOA was a tragedy assistance program for survivors, the National Military Family Association, other military support groups, I imagine American Legion, VFW. So here's some bipartisan legislation, which I like. H.R. 553, the Military Surviving Spouse Equity Bill, sponsored by Joe Wilson. Remember Joe Wilson? You lie! For Obama, and everyone got, I'm just nuts, man. All the crap they said about Bush, and then Joe Wilson said you lied during the State of the Union. They literally want him banned from Congress. Nuts. And then Doug Jones, a Democrat from Alabama, has 63 supporters in the Senate, and there's no way this won't go through. The problem is when they get to conference, they start putting all their freaking pet programs on there. That's the thing about these committees. So it passes the House, it passes the Senate, then they have a conference committee to throw all their, this is why it's literally sausage making. So Joe Wilson say, hey, I need a new bridge in Greenville, South Carolina. Doug Jones says, I need a new, tarmac at the airport in freaking Huntsville or something like that. Okay. And then, no, that's why it doesn't happen the way it should. Or AstroTurf at the university football field. While such widespread support is not unprecedented, Wilson's bill has 271 co-sponsors in the previous Congress. Then, of course, Doug Jones has 63 in this Senate. And Doug Jones, if he were smart, he'd make sure that sucker gets through because he's not going to win re-election in 2020. So he better, if I were him, I'd be on that like white on rice to say, look, I am here as a bipartisan member of Congress. It's the only way he's going to win. The CBO estimated it would cost $7 billion in mandatory spending. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man, that's not a cost. It's not a cost. There's an investment in military service personnel. This is theft. They are paying the premium for the insurance. My goodness. The executive director of National Military Family Association said on Thursday the military groups have been working with members of Congress to fund the costs and said that one may be freaking screw that, man. This is not a cost. This is what the military member has paid into the system via the premium on the SBP. The idea that this is even debatable, we got to find a freaking reduction over here so we can fund the cost over here. Well, Joyce is declined to give specifics, saying the proposal is still in the works, but she's optimistic. Given the attention paid to military widows and widowers who experience large tax increases on their survivor benefit plan this year, the plans are finally aligning. Everyone is trying to bring the story to the younger generation of surviving spouses and what this offset has done to them. It's just time to do this right thing to do. Man, you got to contact your congressman here. I don't normally say contact Congress. This is nuts. And if you're part of MOA, you need to be on there. If you're part of the American Legion, if you're part of VFW, you got to be on these people. This Trump will pass this or sign this in 2 seconds flat. You think Trump won't sign this? There's no reason this can't get through Congress. Well, we got to find a funding offset. Yeah, hell, where do you ever say that on anything else? That's what drives me crazy. Only on the military they ever say we got to find something to offset this with. Screw that, man. Pass the freaking thing. Let's move on. This is nuts, and it infuriates me. All right, we'll see you.